It's finally here. We are so excited that our first ever trader interview is finally here. And yes, we are starting off with a bang. In today's video, we are going to be chatting with Gabrielle, who is a phenomenal trader. And she is one of the very first traders that has ever received a 5-figure payout with us. A couple things to note, as it was our first interview, we have lots of room for improvement. We had some Wi-Fi connection issues. My audio wasn't that great. So please bear with us. They will improve over time, but the quality of the content and everything that Gabrielle shares is well worth the hiccups. So without further ado, let's do it. This is the interview with Gabrielle. Gabrielle, we are so happy to have you here. This has been a long-awaited interview. We've been wanting to interview our funded traders for a while. And as we put out on Twitter, you are the best funded trader that we have worked with so far. We've been operating for over a year. I think I had you up to January 2018 or 2017.
Yeah, so January of 2018, I went solo. I started teaching myself. And then about 7 to 8 months after I started teaching myself, I matched my full-time income at the time. And then that following year, I made my first 6-figure trading.
Okay. Wow. So it sounds like a quick learning curve. I'm sure there was a lot of struggle to get to that point, but
oh yeah, for sure.
It doesn't sound like it didn't take you 5 years, for example. So what was kind of not the secret sauce, but what did you do to make things click so relatively quickly?
So it's been like 5.5 years I've been trading now. But I religiously put in at least 2 to 3 hours every single day. Okay. So when I nannied at the time, when they were sleeping, during lunch, I had my eyes in the chart, in the books and stuff. And one thing that really helped is that I zoned in on what I wanted to do. So I kind of decided what type of trader I wanted to be. If I wanted to scalp, day trade, what worked best for me and my schedule and what I'd be able to do at that time to manage. And then I looked at pairs, and then I decided what time frame I would want to enter on, if I wanted to use indicators or use market structure, and I stuck with one strategy. So I didn't bounce around, and I kind of stuck to only watching people or following people, I guess you could say, on YouTube that aligned with what I was looking for. Because if you watch too many people, there's too much noise. You'll get sidetracked, start jumping from one thing to another. And I think that's what a lot of people tend to do, is that they want such quick results. And I wasn't doing it at that time for the money. I was doing it more so for pleasure. It was something I knew that if I accomplished, no one could take away from me. So it was more so like I was doing it for myself. I wasn't doing it to make money at the time, because I knew the money would follow with the work. But I knew that if I zoned in and I got this done, no one could take it away from me. No one can fire me. So
totally. Yeah. And did you take a bunch of different courses to learn those different methods to find one that fit your personality and what you were looking for? Or was it more of just self-taught experimenting on your own?
Self-taught experimenting on my own.
That's crazy. That's nuts. Like, I put out a bunch of videos. We put out a bunch of videos on the channel talking about how I spent over $10,000 on Forex courses, which looking back was it was nuts. It was so much money. And like so many traders you mentioned, you always think the grass is greener on the other side. So you're always switching strategies. So I feel like you skipped like 5 years of pain by just sticking with one and just letting it play out.
For sure. And, in that time, I knew that I was doing something right, because I had like certain groups or companies or people that had these courses or ran signal groups that wanted to recruit me to their team. I was like, hey, I want you to send these signals, or I want you to do XYZ. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm on the right track because I'm getting attention, but I'm very private. So I kind of you keep to yourself. Too many people are doing things for other people to watch them, and you get sidetracked in your work.
Right. Yeah, I noticed you have a Twitter account and a YouTube channel as well. So what's your plan with that? Are you looking to take on students to teach, or is it more so a personal journey that you're just sharing with others?
So it's funny you said that, because I'm more so active on Instagram.
Okay.
And I'm going to be active again on YouTube. I've had so much traffic to my Instagram because back then when I told you I did that, I joined that team, and then I'm like, okay, you guys are kind of a little shady at that time.
Yeah.
I went solo. I did a video on YouTube about this particular group, just to spread awareness on how your journey could be different. You don't have to do what everyone else is telling you to do. Like, you can learn on your own. It is harder. I'm going to tell you what, my journey is not typical. So
No,
don't
definitely
expect to
not.
get results right away. That's just a FYI. You can be doing this for years. Don't ever compare yourself to someone else's journey.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
But,
when you made your, sorry, go ahead.
I did that, and then I started giving away free information to people. Telling them how they can start, where they can find it. And then I had a lot of people, I would get hundreds of messages a day. I had a lot of people saying, hey, can you bake something? Can you make a course? Can you do signals? Can you do this, do that? And for a while I put it off because I never intended on teaching. And then I did create something. I did create some type of course, making it very affordable, because I'm just like, there's enough to go around. You don't got to gatekeep. But I did also put time and money into this. So I'm going to, charge something, especially when my time is getting taken up with, sidetracked with helping people. So I stuck to that. I still help people. I still mentor people, do Zooms. I give away free stuff all the time, free mentorship and whatnot. But I plan on going back on YouTube and starting to create videos. But I do live analysis and stuff like that.
That's great. Yeah, it's great to see that somebody is teaching in public and is also receiving payouts from prop firms, because that probably shows your students like, okay, you're the real deal,
Yeah.
You know what you're doing, which I think is probably, obviously it's great for you. It's great for the students as well. So it's mutually beneficial. In terms of when you developed your own strategy, what exactly did that look like? Because I imagine there was a lot of experimentation of trying to figure out, it's easy to follow a course and just follow a set list of rules, but making your own, how did you develop that over time?
Well, I knew for sure that I needed to get down market structure. So support, resistance, zones, trend lines, candlestick patterns are big. Chart patterns are big. And then you have to see if your pair aligns with that. So I remember one point I was doing gold, and I'm like, gold doesn't respect anything. So I kind of moved on. And then I looked for something because, I do have children. So balancing children and balancing this and then balancing business of helping people is difficult. So I had to see what pair moves when and aligns with my strategy, what I'm looking to do. And I do not use indicators on TradingView at all. I put that out there. But I will put some on MetaTrader because it's easier for me to get more of an accurate entry or accurate trades, more help when I can't look at TradingView. Okay. So I would test out different things, and I would do so for a while, for a period of time at least, to see if it works. Because just because you lose a couple trades doesn't mean something is not going to work. So I would give myself time to test out just certain things, but more so trial and error.
That's why. And were you doing this on demo accounts when you were still learning and developing the strategy?
Oh yeah. So I had a very small account, about $300 when I first went live, and I take really small trades. After I've tested certain things, just to see if it's the strategy that's the issue or if it's the psychological aspect of trading where that was the issue.
Right.
So demo and live is totally different. I don't care how much money you make on demo. Once you go live, it's a different ballgame.
It's totally different. Yeah, I think the traders are more invested. Even if you put just $100 in the account and trade micro lots, I think you're probably going to learn more than just trading a demo account.
Oh yeah, for sure. Nobody wants to be wrong, and that's where you lose money. You kind of just have to cut your losses and start over.
Absolutely. So what's your goal now over the next couple of years? You're clearly doing well in trading. You have students, you're online a bit, so if you fast forward, 2 years in regards to prop firms, your goals, how much funding you want to have, maybe a personal account, what's kind of your goal in the next 24 months?
So I'm going to look into expanding more on YouTube. Doing maybe a podcast as well. I was putting that in the works and behind the scenes. Continue to help people, but also put my account and myself first as well. because I did put that on the back burner, and you can see what I can do when I put it as a priority.
Totally.
So I do want to beat, my personal goal is my best month of trading, you profit wise, and then seeing maybe more so like who I can partner up with or collab with going forward, because I'm very particular who I partner with, because they have to, you know, a lot of people have different goals. So I have probably like over 3,000 people in my group at this point, that I help, and it's just me. I don't have a team, so I do it all solo, and they really trust me. So I want to bring someone to them that they can trust.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think in this industry, trust really is everything. It's hard to know who to trust, who not to trust. And that brings me up to the next question that I wanted to ask, which of course is my Forex funds. You know, everyone in the trading community has been, you know, upset, frustrated, rightfully so, worried. I'm sure the 3,000 traders in your group have been talking about it. So has that shifted? Well, first off, did you ever use my Forex funds?
Yeah, over a year ago, but I can tell off of working with someone for a little bit of time what I'm looking for, and at that time they didn't align with what I was looking for, so I moved on.
Okay, so I guess it would be fair to say that you were more indirectly impacted by what happened, but the question I want to get to is, has that made any change to your long-term goal of how you plan on using prop firms, or are you viewing it more as a one-off? I know some traders online are talking about, you know, this is a sign that we need to use, you know, grow our personal capital. There's pros and cons to that. So I'd be curious to get your thoughts on how you're viewing the whole situation.
So the way I approach prop firms is I use prop firms in a sense as a credit card. You use someone else's money. That's how you build wealth before you use your own. And I use the prop firm payout to fund my personal. So that way I don't have so much psychological attachment to my account. And if I lose money, I'm like, it came from this, it didn't come from my personal bank account. So it kind of like cuts that for me. And then also, if you have one big trick that you can use that I tend to use, I've used many times, is if you know you can trade specifically with a certain type of capital, for example, $25,000 or $50,000 account, and you do well, but you want to expand, get multiple accounts of that specific account. Only trade one, but connect your other accounts to a trade copier. That way you're only doing the mental work of one account, but you're getting double to triple to quadruple the returns. And that's what I do.
Yeah, it's much easier to swallow a loss if you're on a $100,000 challenge and you lose the $500 you invested versus, you know, losing $10,000 of your own personal capital. It's a lot easier to swallow that way. So the prop firm challenges, personal capital, you're kind of balancing those two.
Yeah, you only lose your initial payout, so it's like I can stomach that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I only bought one challenge with you at that time that I signed up with you, so I got it on the promo, which you guys are still having a promo, and I did go and buy more challenges with you. Just
thank you for
even
the
if
support.
you don't use it right away, you know, you can still have it for, you know, future. But it took me the 366 investment to make the 20,000. So,
which is just absolutely nuts. Speaking of which, you were on our 3-stage challenge, which is a new challenge. So I'm curious, how did you find the 3-stage? A lot of people will think on face value 3 stages is more difficult to pass. What were some of the pros and the cons as well from that challenge that you found while taking it?
One thing that attracted me so much to it was the static drawdown.
Okay.
Once you make enough, which I know I can make enough for cushion, then I can trade the way I want to trade without worrying. With other prop firms, they have such a, you're held back in a way. Although some people will think, you know, it's risk management, $5,000. I get it, but there's such a big rule with them. Even if it's an open trade and you go under, or many prop firms, they experience gaps and jumps and stuff. I don't have that issue with you. So that's what attracted me so much, was that static drawdown, as well as, yes, you're making 5%, 4%, 3%, and that's 1% less than most other prop firms.
Right.
And you're doing it in such smaller increments. So I think it helps to pass psychologically as well as skill wise, because you don't have to make as much in a certain amount of time.
Totally. Yeah, that was part of the idea behind it. If you can pass phase 1 at 5%, you should have the confidence to pass phase 2 at 4% and then 3%.
Yeah.
It gets easier. Did having no daily loss limit change your trading at all?
Oh yeah. I mean, it did help. It helped me gain more. So yeah, for sure. It helped me gain more profit because I didn't have to worry about or look at, what if the market jumps or skips or whatever, it creates that little gap. I'm going to get kicked out and automatically lose. And I don't have to have that issue with you. I just set my alerts on TradingView and I have it, linked to my watch. So it'll just buzz me, which is helpful. And then you also have the ability to upgrade to 90%, which I loved. So I feel like the initial cost of the upgrade will pay off in the long run.
Right. It's a good investment. Yeah. If you're profitable, it's definitely worth it. For sure.
Yeah.
I think the last question that I had for you was, if you could go back to your past self when you first started trading, you could sit down 2017, you could tell yourself, listen, if you're going to be a successful trader, if you're going to get where you are today, what's some advice that you would give yourself?
I probably would definitely say, don't look at too many pairs. First and foremost, invest up front. So I was using my own money, which did limit my returns, and it did mess with me mentally at first because I didn't want to lose. And I was that person that kind of kept trades open, and I'm like, no, the market's going to do what I want it to do. It's not going to do what it wants to do. So I would, if I knew there was prop firms, I would invest in that. As far as courses and stuff, I'm not sure, because my journey was different than everyone else's, and I don't know what other people had to offer. But maybe interact with more traders. It really was a lonely journey. So
trading can definitely be lonely, and it's so lonely. It's that fine line that you mentioned at the beginning too. It's good to interact with traders, but then also you don't want to get too distracted from others online and make your strategy. That's that constant
so many people
battle.
trade for social media. It's just,
Totally.
I'm very quiet in what I do, and I only share with the people that genuinely support me. But once you guys kind of put out the post, I was like, hey, maybe I can help other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think a lot of people will get value from this. I hope so. And that brings me to my next point. What's the best place for traders to connect with you? You mentioned YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. If somebody wants to reach out or just, follow along your journey, what's the best place for them to do that?
Definitely Instagram. I'm the most active. I'll do lives and I'll show the trades I took and explain why I took them, or I'll do live trading with people. I'll send out like free access to my groups or signals and all this stuff. I give things, my time and things away, and you really see the more personal side of me, mother side, the trading side, everything.
You do it all.
I try. You got to do it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So we'll put a link down in the description of the video for that, so everyone can go follow you. We didn't get a chance to look at any specific trades, but since you have it on your YouTube channel, I'm sure traders can go and look to see how you actually do a little bit more trading, a little bit more concrete. So I think that's fine. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention if somebody's watching and they're struggling or anything along those lines?
I would say literally you have to understand why you're doing this. Don't look for quick results. Do it for you. Stop trying to match everyone else, and don't get caught up in all the noise. It's going to just hold you back. And just because you take a couple of losses doesn't mean that you're a bad trader, and it doesn't mean that your strategy is bad either. You have to just stay consistent, because that consistency and sticking to what you know without any other outside people chiming in is really going to push you and take you to the next level. You got to put that work in. There's literally there's nothing like putting in that hard work. It doesn't matter if you have that short-term success or you got lucky. If you don't do the actual work, you're not going to understand what's going on, and you're not going to have that long-term success. Well said. And the best part is that you are living proof of that. You're not just saying these things.
3 payouts, $20,000. So
Yeah.
Gabrielle, I'm so happy that you were able to do this. I hope a lot of traders get value from it. So really appreciate it. And we're excited to see, you know, what you continue to do in the future.
No problem. I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Appreciate it.
Have a great day.
Take care.